YouTube friends, did you notice anything new on the wall? It's my newly completed 4D puzzle of Macau. Macau was once a Portuguese colony just south of Hong Kong, and Fanny and I have lived on the border of Macau and Zhuhai, the local Chinese city. So we know both cities very well, and now that we have finished the puzzle, we will be returning to the city. For now, I'm back to doing stories about our family's adventures. In July 1972, Kathy, I, Roxanne, Nadine, and Naomi, plus Inuvik, our German Shepherd guard dog, left Oxford House, Manitoba in a twin otter. It was an eventful flight because Inuvik and another teacher's dog were constantly trying to fight. But we finally got to Winnipeg, where we got our car out of storage. Gwen Locker, Nadine's teacher, caught a ride with us back to Edmonton, and we gave her Inuvik as she was heading for a farm north of Edmonton, and we moved into a rented house. After a year in isolation, we were looking for fun, so we all got dressed up in our Kondike finest and started celebrating at the Sunday Promenade, Edmonton's Kondike Days. Over 100,000 people would get dressed up in their Kondike Day outfits on the first Sunday of the celebration and wander the closed-off streets of the downtown area for the entire day. There were many stages hosting singers, bands, plays, and just about anything related to the Kondike Gold Rush. There was no need to eat at home that day, as there were food concessions everywhere, and restaurants and dining rooms were doing a landslide business. After being isolated up north for 10 months, we are bushed, and we celebrated Kondike all 10 days at events throughout the city. If you would like to see what we were doing, look at the 2 YouTube videos in the description below. Back in Oxford House, there was little we could spend money on, so we had saved quite a lot, and I planned on finishing my master's degree. However, back in the spring of 1971, when I had left the family for 3 months, Kathy had burned all my research papers, which I deserved, for the thesis required to graduate. On top of that, Dr. W.D. Nill, my thesis advisor, was killed in an accident on December the 23rd, 1971 at Ahmadu Bello University in northern Nigeria. Rather than start the process again, I decided to take some graduate level courses, and I did receive a master's degree in educational administration in 1974. John Diefenbaker, a past Canadian Prime Minister from Saskatchewan, my father's favorite politician, was the speaker, and Kathy's and my parents attended convocation. It seemed that I had, along with Kathy and our girls, made everyone proud of our family at last. Before university started, I accepted employment as Deputy Superintendent of Schools for the County of Lac Ste in 1972, at an annual salary of $16,000. After 2 months in Edmonton, we moved to the village of Sangudo, 1.5-hour drive northwest of Edmonton, which we would call home for the next 6 years. It was the longest time our family lived in one spot. I often thought if God meant for us to live in one place, He would have given us roots, not feet. As Deputy Superintendent, I assisted Superintendent Wilf Green with hiring, training, and evaluating teaching staff in 4 grade 9 to 12 schools, 4 grade 1 to 6 schools, and 3 grade 1 to 9 schools. I ended up being out of the central office in Sangudo about 40% of the time. Our largest schools were along the 115-kilometer stretch of Highway 43 northwest of Edmonton at Onaway, Sangudo, Marythorpe, and Whitecourt. In addition, 4 schools, grade 1 to 9, were located a few miles off the highway at Darwell, Rich Valley, Cherry Hill, and Blue Ridge. There were approximately 120 professional teachers and over 2,000 students. Other significant areas of responsibility involved: 1. Developing a centralized instructional media center in Sangudo that created, stored, and circulated audiovisual instructional kits and other learning resources to all schools weekly. 2. Responsible for programs in 8 special education classrooms. 3. Met with 9 groups of 12 teachers, 3 full days out of the year to create instructional unit boxes for social studies curriculum at each grade level, 1s to 9. 4. Dealt with attendance and counseling challenges. 5. Other responsibilities as assigned by the Board of Education or Superintendent. For the first 4 years, traveling to school took up substantial time, but once I knew all the staff and expectations, I could handle most matters with a phone call. During those years, I helped organize a Strong Lions Club in Sangudo, which served the local community. Most school administrators and some teachers were also Lions members, and we attended each other's monthly meetings on occasion. I also coached women's fastball, curled, and became involved in the Elks Club and Legion. All this socializing with educational administrators and staff outside of work helped facilitate and improve education in our schools. One of my biggest challenges resulted from the Board of Education's termination of a high school principal in Whitecourt. It ended up in a 4-day scheduled court case in Edmonton, August 19th to 22nd, 1975, between the County of Lac Ste and the Whitecourt school principal, Wally Cowell, represented by the Alberta Teachers Association lawyer. 60 parents from Whitecourt who supported Wally packed the courthouse and the hallways. Numerous witnesses appeared. After I had served as a witness for the county late on the second day, Justice Roger Kearns had both sides meet with him in private. and the two parties agreed to a settlement. The principal accepted his termination, and the county paid the principal $5,000. As a result, there was not enough time to hire a replacement, and the county assigned me to go to Whitecourt and prepare for the opening of the high school in September. For 10 days, I lived in a motel and worked with the vice principal and staff to complete work that the principal should have already done. The teaching staff supported the county, but there were other residents of Whitecourt who were hostile and wanted to separate Whitecourt schools from county control. In addition, Whitecourt was snowballing into an oil and industrial service center, whereas the rest of the county consisted of towns that serviced the surrounding farming population. It was a hectic time for me in Whitecourt, and I received telephone death threats. In addition, I represented the outside control of their education system by the county of Lac Ste. However, my relationship with the Whitecourt Lions Club and elementary school principal, Mike Waiwoda, helped get the high school back on track. It opened smoothly in September. I survived. Classes began, and I returned to my home in Sangudo. About 10 years later, Principal Wally, who we had terminated, phoned me in Calgary and asked to meet over coffee. We met for the first time since the trial and had a good conversation. He was very happily employed as a research chemist and thanked me for my part in his dismissal. It was the best solution for him, and his life had improved ever since. After serving as deputy superintendent for 6 years, I wanted to get back into a school and classrooms where I felt the real action was. My guiding principle was that communities build schools to educate their children, and that the primary concern of all individuals affect the child's future. I wanted to know I was making a positive difference in the life of learners, and the only way to ensure that would happen in education was to have 1 foot in administration and 1 foot in the classroom with learners. I accepted the position as principal of Rimbey Junior Senior High School, County of Ponoka, starting in September 1978. There, I could strongly influence the school's overall learning environment and facilitate 3 classes of grade 9 guidance, where I could see and feel the positive results of my efforts with individual learners. All 5 of our family had a wonderful family life in Sangudo, where we all made close friends that have lasted a lifetime. Stay tuned as I describe some of our family's activities in Sangudo in future YouTube videos. Bye for now from Grandpa Humbke.